Hey, it's Nancy here, and I wanted to drop a quick training on the ABCs of soul-centered sales. We're going to dive right in with the first of 4 ABCs that I'm going to cover with always be connecting. Clearly, in the social marketing, media marketing landscape, and internet marketing, connecting is king. But how can you do that from a soul-centered place? I'm going to introduce some practices from the book, The 4 Agreements. I love this book so much by Don Miguel Ruiz. And if you don't have it in your bookshelf, then definitely do yourself a huge favor and go out and get it, because it will definitely change your life. So the practice here is don't take anything personally. And why is this so important while you're going through this process of connecting online or through social media? Well, because you don't want to put yourself in front and center, because you really want to see the perspective of this connection. You want to tune in to their needs, wants, pain, and joy, their story, in order to gain rapport with them. Rapport is incredibly important in this process. And you're not going to do that if you're always putting yourself front and center and making it about your goals, your needs, or your story. The other really important practice here is quickly and easily learning that maybe this connection, either through timing or just circumstance, is just not the right fit for you. It's not your soulmate client, or it's not the business leader you were looking for. And you can easily and effortlessly bless this connection with friendship and let it go. And that is a really important part of this, not taking anything personally. You don't need to take their rejection or the fact that it didn't work out personally. You can learn the lesson and still grow your business. I want to throw in a 7 habits of training here. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is one of my favorite business books as well. And the habit here is to seek the win-win. And why is that important in a soul-centered business? Well, because through this process of connection, always have the intention of a win-win. You want to have a positive net energy exchange, regardless of whether that energy was money or not, because money is an energy. But if you have the intention of no one's going to lose in this exchange, there is always going to be some benefit here through education, through humor, whatever that connection created, that it will always be a win-win. The next of the ABCs is always be cultivating. And this should be a strategy you're also very familiar with. You need to be filling your pipeline. You need to grow your business or your practice. So you've got to be cultivating all these connections. Again, how can we do this from a soul-centered place? The agreement that I want to bring in here is don't make assumptions. I don't know how we as human beings just keep getting this lesson wrong, because in our childhood, we learned that the world didn't revolve, the universe didn't revolve around us, that not everyone knows or thinks the way we do. And thank God, because that means that we're all unique, authentic beings, bringing something wonderful and special into the world. So every time we assume that we know the answer, we know how someone's going to respond, that we have some sort of judgment about the process, that lesson always is going to kick us in the ass. And it's going to keep doing it again and again until we get it right. So this is a practice that you need to repeat over and over again until you really get intuitive with it. So here's some ways that you can practice. Again, bring no judgment into the process, and have the buyer always be in the power position. In the old sales environment, it was always buyer beware, because the seller knew more about the product or the process than the buyer did. Now, with the internet and everything at our fingertips, the buyer is in the position of power. And thank God, because that gives the buyer the option to choose to buy from you. The process is one of choice and not one of pushing something, in that smarmy salesperson way. by putting the buyer in the position, they are in the absolute best place they can be. And you do this by making no assumptions about what you know about the whole process. The other thing that is really fun and fantastic is that you've got to be courageous and very curious about this connection. Your soul called you into this, so be bold, ask questions, interact in a very honest and soulful way, and you will cultivate those connections, those leads into your business. The 7 habits training that I want to introduce is seek first to be understood. Seek first to understand and then to be understood. Clearly, you need to understand the problem, the pain, or what brings this person joy before you can present the solution. You can't present the solution first and then just expect or assume that your buyer will come in with their problem. That is doing it in reverse. The next ABC is always be curating. So this might be a strategy you hadn't thought of before, but in a soul-centered business, you are very specific about the person that you're bringing into your business. You want to be picky about that business leader that you want in. You want them to vibe with you and to have a very, to be soul-centered with you. So this process of curating requires that you be impeccable with your word. I love this practice, this agreement so much. And it's become a really important part of who I am because integrity is really important to me, but also the power of your word. We've learned more about the power of our word now more than any time in history, really. Words right now can easily hurt. Words can bring great joy. Words can divide us and words can bring us together. So understand the power of your word and always be authentic. Never use your word against yourself, and don't